Alright guys, well it is Thursday night and we head to Costa Rica tomorrow morning. Our flight's 6 a.m. so it's super early. We probably all have to get up around like 2:30 or 3, so it's going to be a little bit of a long day, but that's totally alright. But I wanted to bring you along and show you how I'm less than a month out from my next show, so I am obviously in prep, and kind of what I do while I'm on vacation, spending a week in Costa Rica while I'm on prep. Obviously, I'm packing. This is my collection of everything that I need. So I've got mostly tank tops, shorts, swimsuits, and then workout clothes for hiking and for other activities we're going to be doing. Honestly, I'm not sure of the gym situation, which I know sounds super silly. We're staying at these hotels and it wasn't very easily obvious on the websites. But I'm excited to stay at these hotels. So if it has a gym, great. If not, I'll have to modify, and that's completely okay. We plan to do a lot of hiking while we're there, so easy way to get in cardio, plus I love just walking around, so we'll be doing a lot of that. But I'm also packing my hip circle to bring with me for some lower body glute specific stuff, as well as one of these super bands, so I can get a little bit of some back, some shoulder, some arm stuff. So even if there's not a gym, at least I can bring bands with me and make do as best as I can. All right, see you guys in Costa Rica. So the gym here at the Springs is actually pretty good. For, you know, sometimes hotel gyms aren't super great, but there's a wide array of machines. One thing that most places don't have over there is a pec deck. So I've got rear flies in my program, so that's great. There is a 45-degree hyper over there. Cables, benches, dumbbells, pretty much anything I could want. The only thing is no barbells, so obviously gonna modify things like hip thrusts. A lot of times when I modify, I like to just go body weight and really isolate and focus on that muscular contraction at the top of my hamstrings, the bottom of my glutes. So I think we'll do pretty well in here. I'm out doing cardio, so I could go to the hotel gym and do cardio on a treadmill. You hear that? There's just springs everywhere and it's gorgeous outside, so that's why I'm not on a treadmill inside. But Chris and I walked down this way with the baby yesterday and realized it is a very steep 1-mile walk back. So right now I'm walking downhill. You can start to see how steep it is. And then when I get to the bottom, I'm gonna turn around and head up. And yesterday was pretty brutal. I wish I videoed our reaction to not realizing how steep it was going to be coming back up. But that is what I'm doing for my cardio this morning rather than popping on a boring treadmill. Okay, I'm partway up, you guys. It's hard to see depth on here, but I just came from down there, heading all the way back up there. So it's about a 1-mile hike, and yeah, it's tough and it's very vertical. So one way I'm trying to balance still prepping with being on vacation, you can't really see through there. But yeah, I'm at the gym and it has gorgeous views out the window. But it's about 6 a.m., a little after 6 a.m. right now. I woke up at 4:45. I'm just an early riser, but plus the Costa Rican time zone is 2 hours behind, so it's really like 6:45 our time. But Chris and the baby are still sleeping, so I feel like by getting up early, which is a normal time for me, I don't feel like I'm like making an exerted effort to get up early. I was up anyways, and getting to the gym, I can do this, get this taken care of while they still sleep, and then go back and enjoy the rest of the day with them. One thing that I found that's really important when trying to find balance on vacation is thinking about why you're going on vacation. So I'm not going on vacation to sit at a bar and drink sugary alcoholic drinks. That's just not of value to me. So for me, what's important on vacation is exploring a new culture, seeing new places, and right now really watching the world through my baby's eyes and let her kind of get a chance to see something new and explore it. And so to me, that's valuable. And that doesn't mean I have to be way off plan with my food or with my like drinking or my fitness routine. I can stay on track with that and I can still explore a new culture, see new places, and kind of watch my baby explore. So I found that to be pretty valuable when it comes to trying to help yourself stay on track when you're on vacation, is really think about the why behind your vacation and hold true to that each day. So now I'm here in Santa Teresa, which is a little beach town on the Nicoya Peninsula. So we spent the first 4 days up near the volcano, the Arenal volcano in La Fortuna. So that's kind of like northwesternish part of the country. And now we're directly south on the Nicoya Peninsula on a beach called Santa Teresa. Santa Teresa is much more low-key, laid back. Our resort is a lot more of like an eco resort, so there's not a gym. So if you guys see my little setup over there, I've been doing some outdoor workouts with my hip circle and a band that I brought, so it's not ideal, but it works. Cardio is also a little bit tougher. We've been going on walks and hikes, which is great, but the main stretch of Santa Teresa in the town, there's like not really sidewalks. There's lots of dirt bikes and motorbikes, and it's not like the safest to go for a walk on. So I've been walking on the beach a little bit, but it's definitely been a little bit harder to stay on track since I've been here. But you know, again, making do with what I can. There's tons of fresh fish here, which is great. So lots of mahi-mahi, lots of tuna, sea bass, snapper. So I've been able to eat lots of fresh fish, lots of fresh fruit. So it's worked out a lot better. I thought there was a monkey in the tree over there, but it was just a bird. But yeah, you know, it's just make do with what you can. It might not be perfect. It's definitely not perfect. I'm still enjoying vacation. It's 6 a.m. right now, so Chris and the baby are still asleep. I've already done my workout, so I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything with my family, and I'm still able to do my best to stay on track for prep. So I'm officially back from Costa Rica and I'm just a few days out from my next show, but I kind of wanted to recap what it looked like being on prep while I was traveling and on vacation. So if you guys have been following along, I made it pretty clear that my most important goal with competing right now is figuring out how to find balance in life versus just winning. I've competed for over 10 years and historically it's been all about winning and trying to earn my pro card. But now I want to enjoy the process of competing a little bit more while balancing it with career and obviously personal life, including my family, the baby, and traveling. So this trip to Costa Rica was obviously a big test for that. But before I kind of get into some more details, I really wanted to preface why I was able to still be successful on prep while traveling. First off, I was coming off of a prep. So I competed on April 23rd. So it was less than a month after my last show that we were traveling. And I knew I was competing again, so I didn't have a crazy rebound coming from that show. So I'd already kind of set myself up to be in a place of success versus, being in the earlier stages of prep and really having to drive hard to reach my physique goals. So that was the first thing, is I was coming from a really good spot. The second is I was traveling to somewhere where the food choices were going to be a little bit easier. If I was going to Paris, for example, or Rome. I had done that before a trip to Paris and Rome following a competition a while ago. And that was a lot harder because there were things like croissants and wine and cheese and pizza and pasta. So that made the trip to Europe a lot harder. Because I was going to Costa Rica and there was a lot of lean protein options, there was a lot of fresh fruits, there was a lot of rice and beans, it really made it a lot easier. So second big thing that set me up for success was the location to where I was traveling. And the third is my mindset around vacation. I view vacation as a chance to see somewhere new, explore somewhere new. I know there's a lot of people who like to kind of hang out poolside and, drink these fancy cocktails all day long. And that's just not really what I enjoy doing. And having a 6-month-old, it's much harder to actually be able to do something like that. So for me, the purpose of traveling is getting out, exploring, and seeing somewhere new. So for those 3 reasons, I was a little bit more set up to be successful and it made it a little bit easier for me. When I was traveling, we spent our first 4 days up in La Fortuna, which is near the Arenal volcano in Costa Rica. And up there, they do a lot of pinto gallo. And pinto gallo is basically rice and beans. It's very traditional for breakfast, but you can also have it at other meals. So that was great because I tend to eat a lot of rice as my main carb source anyways during prep. I didn't measure anything, but when you've measured out your food enough over time and over years, you can eyeball it pretty well. So I would eat a lot of pinto gallo with either eggs or egg whites for breakfast. We also had a buffet at our hotel that we were staying at near Arenal, and I did egg white omelets loaded up with lots of veggies and then the pinto gallo on the side. So it wasn't too far off from what I would typically have: rice, egg whites for breakfast, and then maybe fish or chicken with it later in the day for lunch or for dinner. So it was actually pretty easy. I added in obviously more really good fresh fruit that I wouldn't normally have. So kiwis and lychee and papaya and mango and just lots of fruit that I don't normally eat. So that was fun. It made me kind of feel like I was a little bit more on vacation, I guess, if you want to view it from a food standpoint, of enjoying some of the local food, which is really fresh fruit. And plantains, of course. I love plantains. So that was typical to serve alongside meals. So I'd have that. Obviously, lots of coffee. That's what I normally drink anyways. So it really wasn't too hard when we were up at La Fortuna to stay on track with similar food choices that I would typically eat. Obviously, I'm not honing in on how it was cooked and prepared. Obviously, it's a lot more oil than what I'm typically used to, but that's part of it. I would guesstimate the sizes, drink lots of water. I did have one night when we were out, I had a glass of wine and a cocktail before dinner. Again, that's not my main purpose of going on vacation, but we were doing a nicer dinner, so I wanted to enjoy it a little bit more. After spending a few days up at La Fortuna, we went down to Santa Teresa, which is on the Nicoya Peninsula, and that's a beachfront town. So lots of fish. When we were there, Pinto Gallo was less common. So for breakfasts, the area that we stayed at, it almost felt like it had a little bit of this like kind of California vibe, where there was a lot of what you call like quote unquote health food stores. So they'd have things like acai bowls and smoothies. So at a lot of places, I had to be a little more strategic about ordering something that was going to be higher protein. But generally, I was able to find menu items that worked well. We didn't have a buffet at our hotel like we did at the other hotel we were staying at. So we would go out and try new places, different coffee shops. So I just had to be a little bit more strategic and plan a little bit more and just search on the menu for what would be the best fit. But being down by the beach, there was tons of fresh fish. So every day for lunch and for dinner, I would have lots of fresh fish. There was lots of mahi-mahi. There was lots of red snapper, shrimp. So it was pretty easy to get lean protein later in the day. Still lots of fresh fruit. It was a little bit harder at the beach to get more of like I said, the rice and beans are less common there. So I'd still try to find whatever would be a good complex carb source. Wasn't as ideal, but also when we were down at the beach, the hotel didn't have a gym. So my workouts weren't quite the same. I would do some body weight workouts, and the location, it wasn't really great for walking. There weren't sidewalks on the main road and there was a good amount of traffic. So I'd walk along the beach, but my exercise output wasn't quite the same. So I felt like I didn't need to make sure I was as on top of my carbs as I would otherwise if my workouts were more consistent. While we were at the beach, there were a few places that had gelato. So I did have gelato, I think twice, but the nice thing is they had really small portions. So sometimes that's all I want is just like a little taste. So I did have dessert a few nights. I didn't have any drinks. That's a lie. One night at dinner, I had a drink, a cocktail out when we were at a restaurant. But other than that, it was almost like I did when I was pregnant, is Chris would order a cocktail and I would just have a sip. Again, I kind of just want to try something and see what it tastes like, but I don't feel like I have this need of having to have a whole cocktail myself. So to be honest, traveling while I was just a few weeks out from a show wasn't as hard as I thought it would be when it came to food selections. But again, going back to those 3 points that I made earlier, number one, I was coming off a show. Number two, I was traveling to somewhere where food choices were a lot easier. And number three, for me personally, traveling isn't all about overindulging in food. So I think those three components obviously helped a lot. If I didn't have those factors, I think it would be significantly harder. I'm not saying that anybody can be a couple weeks out from a show and go on an 8-day vacation, but being strategic, implementing some strategies that I've practiced over the years has really helped. And most importantly, it's allowed me, again, to continue to find balance between competing and enjoying my life. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little glimpse into my vacation. It gives you guys a chance to kind of see my thought process, understand where I'm coming from, and kind of what my approach is to competing now. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye.